What's up, guys? I'm Michael. Welcome to this week's Behind Box Office. Today, we're going to introduce a new regular section called World Movie Radar, where you can expect to see a summary of the hottest movies in the biggest theatrical markets around the world and their chances of getting into the States. First, let's focus on the number one market this past weekend, North America. The latest entry from the long-running Dragon Ball franchise dominated the domestic screen, lifting the overall market in an otherwise quiet period. Dragon Ball Super Superhero opened to $21 million, easily crushing Idris Elba's Beast with a second-place appearance of nearly $12 million. In fact, Superhero is the first and only non-Hollywood movie to claim the top spot this year, taking advantage of the light competition in the late summer season. The only holdover in the top three is Bullet Train, which declined 40% to $8 million in its third weekend, still on pace to cross the century mark in the coming weeks. The success of Dragon Ball Superhero is just the latest sign that anime has seen its popularity surge in recent years. Last April, the record-smashing Demon Slayer Mugen Train opened with a stunning $22.8 million, the second biggest opening for an anime in history, only behind Pokemon the first movie back in 1999. The new generation of audience, mainly millennials and Gen Z, clearly has more exposure to the Japanese pop culture, of which a variety of anime series is a key part to draw the youth's attention. Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, from another highly popular anime franchise, opened to $18 million in March, only a fraction below the second Pokemon movie in 2000. Now, Dragon Ball Superhero became the third anime to open close to or above $20 million in merely 2 years. Will the record held by the first Pokemon ultimately be broken in the near future? You just couldn't rule it out. It's also phenomenal for the Dragon Ball franchise that came out decades ago to thrive again in this new era. Just see how much it has leapt in the domestic box office from 2014, when Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods only managed 296,000 in its opening weekend and ended its run at $2.55 million. Since then, each of the Dragon Ball movie, from Resurrection F to Broly to Superhero, has improved significantly over its predecessor, indicating that the franchise is returning to its heyday and joining the likes of Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen that drives the domestic business in a big way. As an old fan of the original Dragon Ball manga, it's also such a delight to see one of the greatest anime receives tons of love from a new generation of audience. The Dragon Ball gang will continue to save the universe with Saiyan superpowers. Next, let's move on to the number 2 market, China. Despite the arrival of Minions The Rise of Gru, the local animation Xing Shengban Yangjian cleared all competition to open at top with nearly $20 million, closely followed by another local production, Moonman, with almost $18 million, pushing the Minions sequel to third place with a lower than expected $11.62 million. It's worth noting that the studio behind the new champion, Lightyear Animation, has a track record of adapting the Asian folklore into modern digital animation. One of their most beautifully made work is White Snake from 2019, which was also released in North America with a total gross of $34,730. But its sequel, White Snake 2, didn't show up in the domestic market last year, and it remains unclear whether this new animation will be screened stateside either. And we have to talk about the underperformance of Minions The Rise of Gru. For sure, the Despicable Me franchise has seen its box office returns balloon in China pre-pandemic, with Despicable Me 3 grossing over $150 million there. It's probably the main reason why Illumination put a major part of storyline around Chinatown in the sequel. But things have changed drastically in the past 2 years. As I've discussed in my previous video, Hollywood is now facing more headwinds in the overseas market that used to be its biggest. The number of movies that were granted a Chinese entry is much lower than pre-pandemic, with Minions The Rise of Gru only the second summer blockbuster to be released there after Jurassic World Dominion. But the prospect for the rest remains bleak. What's more, even those screened in China have seen their box office returns drop dramatically from their predecessors, as the anti-US and more generally anti-West sentiment in the public grew to record high since the onset of pandemic. Hollywood movies aren't immune to this decline of interest towards the outside world. Of course, the real dynamics of Hollywood in China is more complicated, which might require a full video to sort it out. Anyway, the defeat of Minions: The Rise of Gru is not so surprising after all, as Hollywood seeks to navigate a new global landscape that, in the future, might not include China or Russia. Finally, let's hop to the number 3 market, Japan. One Piece film Red continued its dominance, adding another $6 million to its running tally of over $68 million. Two Hollywood blockbusters, Jurassic World Dominion in its 4th weekend and Top Gun Maverick in its 13th weekend, remain in the top 3. By the way, Top Gun Maverick has crossed the 10 billion yen mark in Japan, making it the first foreign movie to do so post-pandemic. But it pales in comparison with the dominant force in Japan, anime. In late 2020, Demon Slayer Mugen Train broke all records to gross over 40 billion yen, becoming the biggest movie globally that year. In 2021, both Jujutsu Kaisen 0 and Evangelion 3.0 crossed the 10 billion mark. Now, with only 3 weeks in release, One Piece film Red has already collected over 9 billion yen, surpassing Detective Conan: The Bride of Halloween at 9.25 billion. In a week or two, it will get ahead of Top Gun Maverick to be the biggest hit in Japan this year. Besides, the last 2 entries in One Piece franchise were both released in North America, which bodes well for the chance of One Piece film Red. Okay, this is today's World Movie Radar. If you have any thought or topic that you're interested in, feel free to write in the comments. And if you like this video, please share and subscribe. See you next time.